Hello and welcome to Artwork, a conversation with creative people about the joys, the challenges and the mundane moments of living an artistic life. We're your hosts, I'm Poppy Rose.
And I'm Brea Robertson.
And our artist today is Danish-born, Berlin-based movement artist, singer and musician Kat Polar.
As an artist and creator, Kat is inspired by the ever-evolving emotional landscapes inside and outside of herself. Her passion is to be what she creates, to observe and live inside of it. We talk all about this in the episode.
Kat is also passionate about being disciplined as an artist, to resist the fast-paced production that is all-consuming in our capitalist world when it comes to promoting and sharing your art as a polished and perfect product on social media.
We talked about how great it would be if more artists shared their moments of frustration where nothing is working in their process. If you want to do this, tag us at art.workconversation and we'll share your messy process photo.
In this episode, we talk about entering the flow state while creating, the balance between being an artist and having to exist in a capitalist world, how to be authentic on social media, and how as artists we have the power to create our own realities, including our definition of success.
Yes. We loved this episode so much. It felt really grounding and gave us so many amazing feelings of just calmness and affirmation. So let's dive in.
Hello, welcome Kat to the podcast. It is so nice to have you here today. We haven't met before, so tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, but let's start with how are you feeling today?
Today I feel great because I had a rehearsal. I'm just finishing my first live set as Kat Polar. So I had many weeks of doubt and struggles. And now finally it's coming to, I can see the end.
Oh, that's an exciting time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today was a good day.
Amazing. But so tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from and the art that you create. What do you do as well?
I'm from Denmark. And I guess I started my path in Denmark. I was never really that great in school and other subjects than art, creative things. It was always the drive for me to create in general. And I guess it started with painting and theater acting. And then later I got introduced to contemporary dance.
Wow.
And in that I was like, this is what I need to do. Because contemporary dance was more open. It was not such a strict form. So in contemporary dance, it's like you can explore many things and it's not described what you're creating. It's more abstract. I think I wasn't ever thinking that I want to be an artist or that it was just kind of the flow. I think when I was small, it was like I already discovered meditation with painting when I was 9, I guess.
Wow.
Because I was just staying up the whole night painting. And my mom would come in and I would stare at her like, what have you been doing?
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, so already then I was like drawn to this mystery you can go into, this expanded space when you're just deep into a process.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess this has become this was what I wanted. I wanted to dive into this world, and it didn't really matter if it was through painting, dance, or sound.
Wow. We were going to ask you about this, about I guess how you describe creating and the process is quite different to my experience. Like I don't often find myself entering that like flow state where the creative process really takes me somewhere else and time just passes. I don't know why. I think I can kind of come at creating from a perspective of like, I just want to create a product that I can like share with somebody else, and I don't let myself really just fall into it. But can you tell us, like, what is that like, you know, for someone who might not experience that? Can you tell us what it's like for you?
Okay, yeah, I've been trying actually to analyze it because I wanted to be able to explain it. It's like losing yourself. It's like losing your own concept of what you are, who you are, what things are, and it feels like you're going into a state of trust so deep that your mind can expand further than just be here where it's judging, where like the mind is staying very rational.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with meditation. You go deep in a deeper state, deeper brain waves, which you have access to more paths in your brain. Like, okay, that's a very brainy way to explain it.
Do you find that sometimes it's easier for you to get into that place than others? Like, is there times when there is that kind of like rational block and you don't step into it so easily and you find yourself creating in quite a different rational headspace? Or is it something that you've been able to practice and now you know how to get there?
Yeah, practice is the right word, because I believe everything is a practice. I think through analyzing and also analyzing, okay, what is happening when the blockage is there? I try to use the blockage.
Yeah.
So whenever you, like, for me right now, when I sit down and I want to make a new track or I want to compose something new, there's always this starting point of, I would like to be able to sound like Fever Ray, or I would like to have this mood of Radiohead. Like, there's a concept in my mind. So then I just allow it. I just allow this to, okay, this is what the intention I go into creating. And then slowly, through just playing with the synth and singing, it starts to take you. It's like a stream. Then you get taken away.
Wow.
I mean, we've only been talking for 5 minutes, but your energy is just calming me. I think so
calming.
recently,
Yeah.
me and Brie, before we jumped on the call, we were like, oh, life is like, we're so busy doing this, this, and this, and this right now. And you've just reminded me like how sacred and like therapeutic and needed the artistic practice is. And it's making me want to pick up my guitar and just play, and without this pressure of having to there be a perfect song at the end of it, or to pick up my jewelry, making things and try something new. Just making time just for that moment, rather than there always being a goal and an outcome. Because I think me and Brie are quite similar in that way, where we love a goal. We love an end product. We love a little bow at the end of a session. We love tying things off. And we need to make more time for play, definitely. Your energy is
I want to
me.
say that I am so bad at finishing.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like sometimes you wish you were stronger in like one aspect. And because I'm also listening to you going like, there were so many moments today where I had time and I was like, what should I do? And I looked at my guitar and I looked at my piano and I was like, I could just play. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't do it because I don't know what's going to come out out of it.
The
And
resistance. That's the resistance.
I have so much resistance right now, and I don't know whether it's like just a buildup of what we've been living through for the last year and a half, or whether it's because I'm out of that like regular practice, and so it becomes this like looming thing where I'm like, well, I haven't touched the guitar for so long, I don't know if I can do it anymore. But yeah, I think you're really inspiring me to go in with an intention. That I've never thought about that before. Like, my intention for this play today is like to sound like this, or and maybe that's like a really new way I can go into it, thinking
because
like,
you know how I mean, I guess when we talk about it, we all know in a creative process, the outcome will never be what the beginning thought was, or even the first chord. So
true.
it doesn't matter which kind of intention you have. I think it's just a tool
Yeah,
in order to be, because it's, for some reason, it's scary. It's sometimes scary because it's like, how do I do that again? I made a great track last month, but I don't know how. Like, I cannot do that again. How do I?
Yes, that's so true. That's so funny, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
we did it before, but it's like I don't know how I did
yeah,
that, and I feel that all the time. It's like I've already written the songs that are going to be good. Like, and I'm like have trepidation trying to write another one because I'm like, I don't know where those other ones came from. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it can be really scary.
And that is the space, that is this losing yourself space, because I think that is where the magic happens, and that's what people want to listen to.
Yeah.
That is when you listen to an artist and you're like, wow, what is that you feel this is this person, and not, hey, there's a great beat, or that's a great, like, you just feel something more.
The regions of emptiness, looking out the window, seeing the century. But before you have trouble and crawl with the darkest lows, you will never get to see real blossom change. We had to call the difficult triggers of
Something that you said in your bio that I found really, really fascinating. You said that you want to be what you create. What do you mean by that?
I mean that I wanted to, yeah, I guess what you're saying is right, that I want it all to be a part of each other. We're so used to labeling everything. And sometimes I'm so annoyed that I have to put my music in a genre, because then it's becoming a form. But I want it to be part of everything. So what I'm going through right now, I want that to be part of what I'm creating as well.
Yeah.
So it's okay that this, what I made today, might change in the process tomorrow. So it's part of my life journey, as well as it's. So what I'm sharing will also be me. It's not a brand. It's not. Not selling. Uh, I'm not selling something. I'm just showing people my process.
Yeah. Do you ever struggle with that, like being so vulnerable and putting so much of yourself out out there, and you like continuing past your form? Because I feel like something that we've spoken about on the podcast before is that was one of the issues I had, is that I was too attached to to the outcome, to the what I was creating, and
Yeah,
I the fact to the point where I lost myself because I didn't know where that separation
yeah,
was. And for me, it had become a little bit toxic and confusing, and like I wanted to like kind of cut that in a way. But for you,
yeah.
it feels like you're at peace with just being the form as well as being you. So I'm interested to know if that's like ever been a struggle where you're like,
Oh, it's
my
a
my
constant struggle.
value is coming from this art as opposed to me as a person. But I suppose for you it's kind of like the art is you as a person. I don't know, I'll let you talk now.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to this as an artist. Um, and I think it's a constant struggle. And especially in this time where everyone is, no matter which kind of YouTube, or when you watch someone who's recommending you how to promote your music, blah blah blah,
Mm,
how to brand your stuff, everybody is saying you have to post every day. You have to
mm.
post 10 stories every day to keep the
Ugh.
algorithm. Like pressure, pressure, pressure. You have to make fast 15 minutes, seconds videos on TikTok. So I think this, and this is an outcome from capitalism,
Mm,
and this has nothing to do with art for me.
Yeah.
Those two things are separate,
mm,
and it's complex because, yeah, for sure, I would like to earn my money on music and my art.
mm,
So I also want to these things to flow together, capitalism and my art.
mm.
Yeah.
But if you let the capitalism rule your artistic process, then I
Yeah,
think it's easy to lose yourself.
yeah, that
Mm.
is definitely what I did. And I feel like I hadn't thought about it in that way, that the
Yeah.
capitalism really took over the joy of my music for me. It
Yeah,
really did.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite difficult for artists nowadays to feel like what they're making is valuable if it's not
Mm,
in form with like the capitalistic system. You know,
mm,
if you're not making a song that can be marketed and, playlisted, or if you're not creating artwork that can be posted and sold online, and
mm.
it's so easy to feel like it's not valuable.
yeah,
And I think that's something that like has really impacted how I do art. It's like I think I have subscribed to the capitalistic way of creating art to kind of feel like what I'm doing is possible in today's society, but also valued by people who are kind of watching me from the outside who might not be artists. And
yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that I've subscribed to that. But yeah, how do you feel being an artist in this capitalistic system? Where do you feel like you're sitting at the moment with that?
I guess then we come to this point of what I told you about existential crisis.
Yeah, okay. We're jumping in.
Yes, smoothly. I took it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think I have been in, because I think when you come to a new art form, it's new and exciting, and it's easy to feel the flow. And so I started my new solo project last year, Catpolar.
Mm-hmm.
So the first period was like, wow, it's amazing what is possible in electronic music, and I was exploring, and then I mixed it with my dance. I made then visual films to the sounds and music. So in the beginning, it was really a flow, and then slowly I started to be more, okay, how do I spread it? And then you get into this world. Okay, you have to be able to be added to playlists, as you mentioned. You have to put it into genres. Uh, you have to describe yourself, and then slowly I felt like more and more, oh, I'm losing this excitement for exploring myself, or yeah, to keep exploring. Uh, and now recently, I had this feeling like I don't know if I can continue Instagram in this way. So I started to collect emails from people and go more to email list. And I try to draw back so I at least will not feel that I have to post on Instagram every day, every hour.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you've heard of this trend that is like make Instagram casual again. Because I watch a lot of like social and media and yeah, social commentary videos on YouTube. That's like the main media that I consume. And I really, really enjoyed these discussions of like make Instagram casual again, because I feel like for so many of us as artists slash like business owners in a way, like it is this place to promote and to perform and to be, you know, curated and perfect and beautiful and all of those capitalistic things.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed this discussion of like make it casual again, because there was a time before all the brands and businesses got on Instagram where it was just a place to share photos like with your friends, and
Yeah.
it's become so huge. And yeah, I was just wondering if you are like feeling more towards like let's make it casual again, let's post the messy behind the scenes without a care, or are you, you mentioned going to more towards like an email list that's more like safe, and the people who are there like are only the people that like want to hear from you and are, you know, interested in you and excited about your project. So
I'm a
yeah.
little bit split in that because I think Instagram can be used in a very cool way. And if I connect to myself to the what I actually want to share, it's very nice because I like to make visuals, and you can add sound to it, and you can write something. I think that can be very powerful. But I think we have to be very disciplined with ourselves uh, to share something real, you know, and not just always post what how you look best, or the, like when you had the most fun or when you're with the most people.
Yeah.
And yeah, be more, I hope it will get it become a trend to show what is like, to show real things
Yeah. Yeah.
and to inspire each other that we are all going through the same things,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
remind each other basically.
What kind of things would you like to see artists, especially, start sharing on their Instagram? Let's start a
Oh,
revolution.
okay, that's great. That's great. I actually, when you asked me, I immediately saw something. I would love to see, like, let's say everybody puts just a hidden camera for yourself in the room, doing the process, and you post something when you're getting really annoyed, or like these
Yeah.
fail videos that is always for fun, but just like as a normal thing. Also sharing that hard times, like right now I feel like sharing that I'm really doubting myself, and I really doubt everything that I've been doing, because I know we all have these periods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can inspire each other that
Yeah,
way.
I guess it takes so much strength and bravery and courage to share the hard times. But I
Yeah.
feel like when we do that, like people connect with that more than the successes and more than the great moments when you're with the most people and you're,
Yeah.
doing the most beautiful thing in the most beautiful place. And I mean, I know for myself, when I've posted and shared something that is a little bit more vulnerable and open, I get more engagement. I hate
Yeah.
that, but more people are interested in more people are interested in interacting. That's a very hard sentence with me and with the stuff that I'm sharing, and sharing their stories and their struggles as well. And yeah, I think it's so important to, like you
Yeah.
say, to be able to relate to people. And
Yeah.
it does seem really scary to say to the world, like, hey, like, I'm not doing so well, I'm struggling with this. But when you do, like, a problem shared is a problem halved or even
Yeah.
more, it is worth taking that risk, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know what you mean with this. Always thinking about what is more engagement is a little bit. That's a big thing for all of us. But I think you can also see it as a good sign that
Yeah.
humans are actually, we
Yeah.
are all interested in seeing the real deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. And the more that happens, the more it encourages us to be more and more real, I think. When we post this episode, I want to start something on our Instagram where we ask artists to tag us in their process
oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
We'll start a little hashtag.
and get everyone to post their frustrated, annoying
I love it.
process.
I love it.
Let's get it going.
Yes,
I
I will
see
do it. I will hashtag.
Yeah, I'll do that, because I mean, there's so many times when I'm making my jewelry and it just goes, I'm trying to wrap one crystal and it goes wrong so many times, and then my desk is just covered in like little shards and scraps of wire. And next time that happens, I'm gonna post that on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's great. That's great.
When you're having these doubts, because I think what you're explaining and expressing is it's such a moment in the creative process and just personally that I think anyone listening would understand, especially artists, of just having these moments of doubt in what you're doing. And when you go through these times, or when you have these existential crises about your art and what you've chosen to do with your life, I assume, how do you work through that? Do you have any advice for us? And how do we get through that? Or what helps you during those moments?
First of all, I think it's needed for me, it's needed to allow all of the hard things that come up, and all the stories in my head, or voices in my head that is doubting or telling me from society, probably, what are you doing, what are you, like, you're an artist, you will never make it, or all of these things, to allow it to be there and to sit with it. Because I think when we suppress it all the time, it will just keep being underlying. When you allow it to come up, you can slowly, with your mind, observe it and see, okay, this is not rational, or you just do it anyway. So I think these last like 1 month, I've been living now here in a house a little bit on the countryside. I have a studio in the cellar. I've been sitting a lot in the garden and just like, okay, what is going on? What is happening? Okay, this thing with Instagram. Do I feel great with posting every day and all this? I see what people like, and then I get into the pattern in my head. maybe I should pose more like this, like that. So I kind of catch my mind going in that circulation of
Mm.
I'm starting to create towards something that is not me anymore.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's the same process, diving deep
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being with it, and then see what is coming out of it. I don't know if I have any tool. It's more like taking your time, really taking your time to observe and give yourself space, because as an artist you need to have this room in yourself, because if you're constantly stressing fast, it's difficult to create. Yeah,
Yeah. I think actually what you've said is so important, but so hard. Like,
yeah.
and I'm listening to it going, yeah, I don't know if I've ever really sat with those feelings.
Oh.
Because it's exactly what we have to do as artists. Like, we need space, we need time, we need room, but
Yeah,
everything in our life is
it's
like
opposite.
telling it us, yeah, it's the opposite. And
Yeah,
it's such a discipline to
go
allow
against.
yourself to give yourself that time.
Yeah,
And that's another thing you said in your bio, which I found really amazing, is like to be disciplined enough to resist the fast-paced production that's happening. And I think that is also personally as well. It's so easy to just kind of go, that was a shitty day. All right, I got to pick myself up tomorrow and keep going, and
yeah,
just kind of like not think about the struggles you're going through, because there's no time. We've got to get back out there. We've got to keep going. We've got to present our things to the world, and
yeah, yeah.
it's just so.
But sometimes it's all right to lay there, you know. Sometimes it's okay
Yeah.
to lay in the mud and just like lay with all the bad stuff and
Yeah.
all the things that feels awful.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
okay.
It is so healing to do that, and it's something that I've been practicing more and more this year, especially earlier this year, dealing with like depression and anxiety. And so often I would want to just like run away from those feelings and like lose myself in a TV show, or doing a task, and just trying to not be in my brain. And
Yeah,
there's a time and a place for that, and definitely like take refuge in the Netflix if you need to, but like
yeah, yeah,
it has been so healing when I'm feeling these uncomfortable, sticky emotions come up, to just take some deep breaths, and even just for a few minutes to just sit and allow fully that feeling to just fill my body. And if tears want to come, allow them to cry. You always feel better after a cry. If there are
yeah.
tears coming, let them flow. Let them flow. That
Yes,
is
the
the
more the
biggest.
better. Come on.
Absolutely. Because when you finish your cry and you realize that the energy has gone
Yeah,
through you, like it's
yeah,
it's always moving, all the cliches, like this too
yeah,
shall pass.
yeah,
But
yeah,
because I know firsthand that when depression is with you, it feels like it's going to be here forever. It feels like it's going to be,
yeah,
you're never going to know what joy is again. And I
yeah,
know that firsthand. But just breathing with it for a few minutes, even just a few minutes,
yeah.
will, even when it feels horrible and sticky and scary. But maybe something
Yes,
I have also been doing is trying to like move with that, and move, how does that energy and that feeling feel if I put on a song, and
yeah,
how does my body want to dance to that? How does the energy need to move?
yeah,
And that has been very, very healing in letting those emotions flow and leave, because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't like them, but when they're there, I try my best to welcome them with compassion and kindness. But
Yes,
lay in
yeah,
the mud, definitely, like you said,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and not be afraid of it.
metaphorically and literally.
Because I think that what makes it hard is the resistance as well.
Yeah,
Resist it,
absolutely.
and yeah, there's this. It's I was about to say theory, but it's actually scientifically proved that an emotion only stays 17 seconds. Like that's how it is actually. But
Oh, wow.
because we in our mind hold on to
Yeah.
it with compulsive thinking,
Mm.
it can stay, for years.
Wow.
But actually, the process through the body is 17 seconds.
Whoa. Well, there you
So,
go.
Whoa.
yeah,
Did not know
it's
that.
quite interesting.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So if you just let that fear kind of pulsate through you for 17 seconds,
Yeah.
it will
It shall pass.
pass if you
Yeah.
actually let it go. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that is so powerful. I love what you said before about like also when you are going through these moments of existential crisis that you don't hide that from what you're creating, like actually kind
Yeah.
of letting that drive your creativity and the process. Can you talk to us a little bit about maybe some moments where you have been in the creative process where it hasn't felt pretty, and has something come out of it that you could listen to or see and be like, oh wow, that came from a really like troubled, doubtful place, but there it is in a creation now?
Yes, I have definitely one song that was created. I had very cliche. I had a very bad time with my ex-boyfriend in a period, and one night we were close to breaking up, and I felt through that night we were living together, but he didn't come home, and I was, in this feeling I can't do anything. I try to create something, and not with any idea of what it should be or how, just to get away. I guess just to let my emotions flow. And that song, when I listened in the morning, uh, it was a whole song created from that, and I was like, that is really amazing, because I didn't observe while I made. I was not listening back and be like, should I change this or should I do that? I was just purely using the synths and the microphone as a way for me to spill it out.
Wow.
And then I showed it to my ex-boyfriend at that point, and we got out of our problems. We came to a point where it was okay, and I played it for him, and he started crying.
Wow.
And he said, from all the things you created, Christine, I think this song will take you far.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think definitely it can be used. It's
Yeah, it just shows like how even in those raw moments where we're just kind of purging our emotions, it's often, it can be the most powerful art that other people will connect to.
yeah.
And yeah, that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Just changing, well, not really changing gears, but I guess a different question that I wanted to ask is, for you as an artist, what would your idea of success be?
Definitely to come to a place where my art is inspiring. That I think that's like the essential. That what I'm sending out there in the world gives people a feeling of, it doesn't matter what feeling, but that is giving people something positive or something inspiring, I guess is the right word. And also building community. I hope to come to a point where I can support other people as well, and not just be, like finding my place.
Mm.
And it's interesting because we're so focused on money, and I think in the back of our mind, it's success is money. But if we scroll it down, it's money is just a way for us to buy our security. And so I think, yeah, looking away from the money, it's definitely creating community, inspiring other people, somehow inspiring inclusion instead of separation, and also inspiring allowance. It's allowed to be you. It's allowed to for you to feel everything. Yeah.
Wow, I love that every answer you gave was intangible. It was not numerical. It was
Yeah.
just this. I just love that, and I feel like, yeah, maybe you resonate as well, Brie, because I feel like when someone says to us, "What is success to you?" like, we've got some, smart goals set out, and I am so inspired that your goals are just states of being, rather than things to do.
It's so important to like reflect on what success actually means for artists, because that's
Yeah.
also a big one for us.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that we have to
Yeah.
fight against, that we don't just accept the capitalistic idea of success, but that we define it ourselves and
Yes.
reclaim some of our power back as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. It's like,
Definitely.
as an artist, we're kind of also forming reality, right? We're kind of observing and creating a different perception of it. So it's weird for me if it's just a product of capitalism. Like, it's much wider. It's a much bigger thing than, yeah.
Yeah, I love. Oh, imagine the realities we can form if we're intentional about it. Oh my God,
Yes.
we could change so much.
Yeah.
I love that we form our own realities. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about this live set that you're creating, and maybe a little bit more about your projects that you're working on right now. Can you tell us a bit about the art that you're creating
Yes.
in these deep processes?
Yeah. So I have been making Cat Polar, as I said, the solo project. I've been making music in a band before and by myself, but not in a serious point to release. I mean, the band, yes, but not by myself. And now for the last year, it has been really amazing to finally be able to make all, like, my whole vision, from the songwriting, the bass, the drums, the vocals, everything. And I come from dance. Actually, I educated myself as a contemporary dancer since I was 20. I guess I studied around 7 years. Um, so I guess my music is a little bit influenced from that. So I don't just think in normal compositions, but I think like creating a whole atmosphere. Like, for me, it's like creating a whole world soundscape.
Wow.
And I like to, so I work a lot with dimensions in the mix, and going, like in and out of reverb, like a lot of reverb and back to the center. Um, and yeah, there's many people, you probably know that there's many people who wants to tell you what you should do to make it work, like how you should improve. And many people, you have to be better at, especially German, sorry, maybe take that out. Saying that you have to be better at composition. You have to make the verse, the chorus, and the chorus should be like this, should be catchy, all this uh, commercial, kind of,
Mm.
and it's just not how it flows for me. It's not at
Mm.
all. Um, so yeah, I guess it's kind of abstract in a way, but
Cool.
but I also
Mm.
have a lot of songs with many repetitive beats and looped vocals,
Amazing.
and yeah, right now the set is going to be 50 minutes long, and I have a
Mm.
guitarist who's supporting me.
Amazing.
Amazing.
So we are doing like the half electronic, half acoustic. So I'm playing synth, uh, analog synth, singing, and yeah.
Sipping at the bottom, constant battle outside.
I find it so fascinating that you said that you come to your music as a dancer, and
Mm.
I'm interested. Like, do you, when you're writing your music, do you see like the dance in your mind? Do you dance like while you're creating your music? Is that like a part of the process, or is it more music focused?
I think the space that I go to when I dance is the
Mm,
same space that I go to when I make music,
Mm.
and
mm,
I guess there is some visual things coming up, uh, like it's a little bit a mix of a white space and a painting, so like
mm,
a 3D painting. I see while
Wow.
I
Yeah.
create, kind of, uh, and that's why it's very interesting to work with depth in sound. I think
mm,
that it's not just for to make this professional sound, as many people are talking about, but
Mm.
to actually paint with the dimensions in the music and the depth, which you can do with the panning and the delay and the reverb. And
Wow.
oh
so
wow, that is
How did
so
you
fascinating.
how
I
did
love it.
you stumble upon electronic music? Like if you were training as a dancer, was that kind of the career that you wanted to like have for yourself? Where did the music kind of come into things?
yeah, I think for many years, when I started contemporary dance, I was so fascinated because it was such a free form expression.
Mm.
And I found out through years that I'm not a person who can be just choreographed, or I'm a creator. I'm not someone
Yeah.
who works well in, I would almost call it dictature.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
in the dance world, it has been very tough for many years. There's not much money in it.
Mm,
Yeah.
So when you finally get into a company and it's funded and you get paid, it's so narcissistic people, and they're also
Mm.
struggling a lot. So the choreographers usually, many, not all, but they spend time on making their dancers look like them.
Mm.
So you can hear it's like you have to kind of be this blank, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was struggling a lot. Like I love dance, and I still dance and I still do projects, but I was struggling because I thought I wanted to be this successful contemporary dancer. But through realizing this narrow world, at least where you get paid, well for it, is then you don't have much freedom to create yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of I was making music since I was small. My dad gave me my first guitar, and so it has always been a part. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was in dance school, my teacher heard me singing in the toilet. And after she heard that, she was like, Katrina, we have to use that. We have to use your voice.
Oh my god.
So
Wow.
they started to use me as both a singer and a dancer. So I was, yeah, using my voice and body in the performances in the end.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, then when I got started with electronic music, typically in Berlin, I slowly started to first, of course, make my own sound for my own pieces. My graduation piece, well, partly with another guy, but I started to then create the sounds, also helping others.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, now it's I feel like it for me now it doesn't matter where I am in the, like, if I'm the dancer or if I'm
Mm.
the producer of the music, or um it's more, yeah, the process of creating. And
Yeah.
Mm.
but
That's
definitely I
amazing.
think all the disciplines is widening your perspective. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very great for artists to, if they're too stuck in one thing, go do something else you always wanted, because, and stop thinking that you're wasting time, because it
Mm.
all can be used in
Yeah.
each other's.
It's so cool that you've been open to that and learning new things and embracing, like, I just feel like you
I wish
you
it would
really
have been
are.
embracing. I wish it would have been embracing, but I had really 4 years of thinking I lost everything. You know,
Really.
when I was drawing away from dance,
Mm-hmm.
because it was filling my whole life. I
Yeah.
was training every day, 8 hours, and trying to, yeah, improve myself every day. And when I
Mm-hmm.
realized this is not what I want, or at least not in this way, it was like a hit in the face. It was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. And it took you years to kind of come to terms with that decision, do you think?
at
Or
least I was constantly evaluating in my mind, and I was trying to think, okay, you have music, so it's okay. I was trying all the time to,
mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it took a while before I understood why I did it.
Yeah.
And now I can see that, yes, I'm an artist. I want to be an artist. I don't want to be a competitive dancer or
Yeah.
perfect in something,
Mm.
but I want to be able to tell my story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're amazing. I
Thank
feel
you.
like your
Likewise.
energy is just what we both really needed to hear this
Yeah.
evening. So
100%.
Oh,
I'm
beautiful.
just so grateful that you got in touch with us because yeah,
Thank you.
I am so so inspired by this conversation and by you. So
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, so we always end the episodes with asking what is some words of wisdom that you would like to share with our listeners, something that you live by, something that you always come back to, a little golden nugget. I mean, I feel like as always, this
Yeah.
episode has just been constant golden nuggets of wisdom.
So many pieces
But
of wisdom
anything
already.
else that you want
I'll pick
our
one.
that you want our listeners to take away from this episode, if there's one thing that they remember
um,
from you, what do you want that to be?
yes, it's somehow very clear for me. It's enjoying the process, because it's all only right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just right now.
perfect. Perfect.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story with us
Yeah.
It
today.
was really, really
Thank you.
nice. Really,
We
really
love
nice.
talking to
Like,
you.
a nice feeling that people just ask into you.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
Oh,
Really
I'm
nice.
really glad we got in touch, and I can't wait to share this story with our
Yeah, thank you
audience.
for doing this work, and that's really amazing.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We'd really appreciate it if you would take the time to subscribe to our podcast and review the episode so that more people can find us in the future. Your comments help us pop up on people's suggested podcasts, helping our artist stories reach a wider audience.
Podcasts are best shared by word of mouth, so if you know people who might enjoy this episode or the Artwork podcast as a whole, we would love it if you told them all about it.
And if you'd like to be a part of the artwork conversation, we would love to invite you to join our Artwork Community Facebook group, where you can connect with the artists we've featured on the podcast and share your art with a like-minded community. You can find the link in the show notes, as well as all the links to today's artists.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at art.workconversation.
And stay tuned for our next inspiring episode. Bye!
Bye!